everyone, we're back for another episode where we're going to give you the next company we think you should invest in.
The company we're going to be recommending today will be key for the future of the Metaverse, which has been a running theme recently. We're going to be talking about Unity Software.
Yeah, we'll be talking through what the company does, why we like it as an investment, what the potential risks are, its share price history, and a detailed analysis into the company figures.
Before we get into the detail, if you would like to get more content, like this and hit that subscribe button, and you'll get notified whenever we release a video. So let's start with the Metaverse. I've been hearing that term quite often, but what exactly is it?
So the Metaverse is the utilization of technology such as virtual reality, augmented reality, and a digital universe where users can live. People envisage the Metaverse being a place where people can work, play, and stay connected with friends. For example, some have even gone to say that you could do virtual holidays in the Metaverse.
So in gaming, the closest games which achieve this virtual space are games like Minecraft and Fortnite.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, they're ones which use that virtual space.
So what do Unity Software do and how can they contribute to the Metaverse?
So Unity Software can make the Metaverse a reality for companies like Facebook and Apple who have a clear long-term aspiration for it. For example, Facebook have changed their name to Meta. So that's a clear indication that they're getting delved into the Metaverse and they want that to become a reality in the future. And Unity allows developers to create 3D content for gaming and augmented and virtual reality.
I've read its primary users are game developers across the App Store, Play Store, consoles and PC, including big names like Activision Blizzard and Sea Limited.
Yeah, and they're also expanding so their products can be used in construction, engineering, architecture, and several other industries. They've recently also acquired Weta, the company who did the special effects for Lord of the Rings. So they're getting involved in the film industry as well.
So how exactly do they make money?
So they have a vast amount of products, but to put it simply, they have a create tool which users can develop games with, and they charge a subscription fee for this feature. They also have an operate tool where users use to optimize user engagement and monetize through ads and in-app purchases, for example.
So why buy this company now? Is it due to the potential of the Metaverse?
Yes, so predominantly we believe the Metaverse will be massive in the future, although as many who have talked about it, like Mark Zuckerberg, they say it will still take many few years, maybe even 10 years, before it reaches its full potential. So it's a long-term play on the Metaverse, and we think that the revenue will expand quite a bit, and it will expand away from just gaming companies, but to a whole vast of industries.
I'm aware there are risks in picking this stock, as the price of the share and price to sales ratio is quite high compared to other tech companies.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. There's a hefty premium to pay for its future potential, but if the Metaverse does evolve as planned, this premium will be more than worth it. That's what we believe, at least. The risks is that what we envisage happening doesn't exactly happen with the Metaverse, but with the biggest tech companies like Facebook and Amazon taking part in the Metaverse, we think this is a risk that we can take. Furthermore, there's also competition like companies like Epic Games, and that's something to consider. And there'll also be other companies who will want to delve into the Metaverse. So there's always that risk, and it's a risk we have to take if we want to sort of invest into the Metaverse.
Shall we have a look at its website for our listeners?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's take a look at the website. Right, so here is the front page for Unity Software. They say it's a platform of choice for multiplayer hits. So let's look through what they say that they provide. So they say they provide everything you need to create and operate your games. They also talk about automated transportation and the manufacturing industry. So again, a competitive edge with real-time 3D in a rapid evolving industry landscape. Film, animations and cinematics. So that's like that Lord of the Rings space that I was talking about. They've taken over a company who can do that aspect. Architecture, engineering, construction. So create immersive 3D experiences for real world applications at scale. So that's getting into that metaverse aspect and creating that virtual reality. So featured products, so they have something called Unity Pro and they have something called Unity Gaming Service. And the Unity Pro is a complete solution for professionals to create and operate real-time 3D experiences. And where the Unity Gaming Service is where you're in development life cycle, you can enhance your game by running your online game, growing revenue, and discovering player insights and more. So once you have sort of created a game, how do you then expand that revenue? And that's what the gaming service does. And they've also got other bits and pieces like Unity Learn. So that's where you can, if you're not aware of how to actually use Unity and what you do with the tools, you have 750 hours of on-demand learning, an asset store, documentation, gaming service. So it's quite it's a vast amount of detail on the website. And then there's the latest news from Unity. So again, as mentioned, the latest news is that taker of Weta Digital. And then going to the products, as I said, if I went one by one, it would be we'd be going too much into detail. But they've got a vast amount of products, as you can see here.
As you can see from the graph, it IPO'd at $75 in September and then rose to a high of $174 and then dropped back down to $76.
Yeah, so it had a bit of a volatile start for a stock which has a lot of future potential, but it depends on what events are going on. So and that sort of volatility has continued on through 2021. So as you can see, after it reached that low of $76, it then sort of went to an all-time high of $196 when there was news of the metaverse and how prominent that would be. But since then, it then reached a low of $94 recently, and that's been the story of most growth stocks. They've been lagging in the recent few months, but they recently reported their earnings, and the earnings were pretty good. And since then, it's closed today at $107.6. So with the price it is now, we wouldn't call it cheap when you compare the price to earnings ratio, but with all that future potential, we definitely recommend for you to get into the company, and maybe if you do see it dip like it has in the past, maybe get in a little bit more. But we definitely think there's a position to be made in this company. So yeah, that's the graph. We'll next go into a few of the steps. First of all, what their income statements show. So 2018 to 2021. So as you can see, the total revenue over time has grown substantially from 381 that's 381 million, in fact, because these numbers are in thousands, to over £1 billion in the latest financial year. So revenue is growing. The cost of revenue is also increasing, which isn't so great. And gross profit is increasing, which is good. But also, as you can see, the operating income or loss is increasing over time because there's a lot of money funneling into expenses. So these expenses are growing over time because they want to expand quickly and become a massive company which can do all sorts of things, as well as supporting the gaming industry. They want to sort of expand in various different avenues and get into the metaverse. So for that, you need to spend a lot of money to do that. And one of the acquisitions we talked about in this video was the company which did the special effects for Lord of the Rings. So in order to do that costs money. So that's going to eat into the expenses. So that's your financials. But you can see there's a healthy growth there. So that's a positive sign there. Let's look at some of the other stats. So go to statistics. So currently, with the valuation it is right now, it has market cap is 27 billion. Its enterprise value is 25.89. So enterprise value and market cap are important. The relationship's important because when the market cap is higher than the enterprise value, it means it has more cash than it has debt. So that's a positive sign for the company. Its price to sales ratio is 26, which is fairly high, but for a growth company, that's not too bad. Let's have a look at some other stats here. So it's got the percentage held by insiders is 11%. So that's a healthy stat. So if there is a high percentage held by insiders, that shows that the insiders have faith in the company, and 10.9% is higher than 5%. Anything higher than 5%, we generally tend to recommend, it's a green tick essentially if there are a good amount held by insiders. The short float isn't that high; it's about 6%. So it's not tiny, but it's not too high. So I don't think we can read much into that. The quarterly revenue growth, as we looked at the financials, the year-on-year quarterly revenue growth is 43.4%, which is very healthy for a growth company. So that's really good. And then total cash in hand has been reported to be 1.74 billion. Again, that's a healthy figure. They've got enough cash to continue investing and continue sort of developing on their platform. So that's a good figure. So generally, when I look at the stats and when I look at the graph and when I look at the financials, I'm quite happy with what I'm seeing. And so, as well as the thesis, they've got good numbers as well, and that's another good reason to invest in the company.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on our stock pick of the month. Please subscribe if you like this video and make sure to hit that likes up button.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next time for a crypto pick. So I hope you guys are excited to see what we're going to present to you next, and tune in next time. Thanks for listening.